To summarize this video on trading with Ashley, she provides unrealistic profit potential, even by mentioning that her followers can earn 30% every year just by selling premium. I believe that that's too much. Also, she claims that you can earn 120% a year by selling covered calls. She makes errors with very basic options trading concepts, such as when she mixed up the premium collected with the profits and failed to take into account the buying power expansion that would be required by making weekly trades. In some of her videos, she assumes that covered calls will not be challenged and provides an unrealistic profit potential to her viewers. She also has zero verified trading history. She doesn't show any trading statements. For all I know, she can just be paper trading and then passing it off to her followers as legitimate trades. She uses sleazy and predatory onboarding calls, whereas with my call, the guy asked me to verbally commit around 4 times. He asked very invasive questions, and he also lied about having 100% conversions, which is actually extremely dangerous because things like that can easily be found out via a simple subpoena. There's no trial offer for her Discord. Instead, the minimum amount that you'll have to pay in order to gain access is $1,800. I also believe that during a bear market, virtually all of her students will get crushed and lose a lot of money. And overall, she teaches a very simple strategy that you can easily learn for free elsewhere.
How much money you can expect if you're going to be selling puts. Because if you're trying to plan for retirement, you want to fully understand how much money you'll need to run a strategy. Like if you are selling puts in the right way, if you are doing that, then you can expect to make about 30% a year in premiums. Now that's a combination of premiums on the puts and on the calls. I'll do another video on how to properly sell calls.
The probability of earning around 30% a year by only selling premium is extremely low. And the reason for that is you're not going to be able to collect enough premium when volatility is low and VIX is below 15. If you try to make around 30% a year when volatility is low, then that means your strike prices are going to be extremely aggressive. Then if the market has 1 week where it falls 2 to 3%, or if volatility expands by 30 or 40%, you're going to end up in a margin call and you're going to be forced to close out all your positions for a major loss.
The plays you see right here represent a 4.2% return in a week. So it took $56,900 in capital and it produced $2,415 in premium. So when I say that you can realistically hit about 30% annually, that is very doable because just this example alone, if you were able to replicate this every week or anything close to it, you're looking at a 220% annual return.
This is incredibly misleading, and it shows you how little Ashley Wade and Investing with Ashley knows about trading. First off, over $1,800 of that premium is in one trade. Additionally, your premium collected is not profit. Plus, making this trade required over $13,000 of buying power. So if you had available buying power of $56,000 to around $114,000, you can only make this trade around 4 to 8 times until you're using 100% of your total account size. Meaning that to do this every single week, she'd need an account that is around $350,000 to $700,000 in account size, not $57,000 like she's indicating. And that's assuming that she's using regulation T margin. If she's using $56,900 in a cash account, then she can only make this trade one time. And to make this trade weekly using just cash, no margin, her account size would have to be over $2.5 million. So for her to claim that you can make this trade weekly and earn around a 220% return annually shows that she really doesn't know anything about options trading because she's making very basic mistakes. For some reason, I've never seen her post even one trading statement. For all I know, she might just be paper trading.
Next, I go to my chart and it looks a little bit like this. This is called a Bollinger Band and it's giving me a wealth of information. The further out you go on your time frames, the safer these trades are. But you don't want to be too safe because then you're going to cut into the potential premium that you could make. So I am looking at the 1 month chart and I am looking at this data right here. The Bollinger Band is a predictive technical analysis tool.
I don't believe that using Bollinger Bands has any research behind it of being a reliable predictor of future price movements.
In today's video, I am going to show you the math on how you can take less than $200,000 and create for yourself an annual salary of $120,000. So that's about $10,000 a month. Now we're going to do this with a combination of a leap.
Right, so she's telling you that you're going to make 60% a year, which in my opinion is completely unrealistic.
And then selling calls against those leads. Now, I know that there are several indicators out there that we could be entering into a scary time in the market. And so I wanted to teach you today how to purchase a leads on the SPY. And then I'm going to teach you how to sell regular calls against that leads. The best part about the leads is you don't need the cash to purchase 100 shares of stock. So when you're purchasing a leads call, you want to potentially buy it on a red day. That way you will be buying it when it's less expensive. So if we're looking at this, like I said earlier, the first thing you want to consider is it a red day for the SPY? And if the answer is yes, then you have passed test number 1. The second thing to consider is the price action in the lower portion of the Bollinger Band. So if you are fortunate enough to purchase an equity or a call when the price action is below the band, then that gives you a much better shot at having profitable weeks ahead. So the closer you can buy your call leaps when the SPY is closer to 30 on the RSI, the better chance you have of riding the elevator up and collecting all the money along the way. Once you're satisfied with the price action of the SPY, then the next order of business is expiration dates. For something to be a true leaps, it must be at least a year out from the current date. However, I like to go as far as I can on the chain, especially with something like the SPY, because over time the SPY always goes up. Now I am going to train you on how to properly sell covered calls against your leaps. We're going to look at what delta to use, what price to consider. For this example, I'm going to settle in on a weekly call. Then I want to go to my option chain and you go all the way down to where the price action is. And this time, instead of buying the call, which we did much earlier, we're going to be selling a call, much shorter dated call against the leaps that we purchased. Now, typically when I am selling calls against any stock, I like to start around the 0.2 delta. The reason this is important is it is showing you that it's about a 20% chance by our expiration day that it will hit the strike price if you're looking at a 0.2 delta. To sell this, I will be receiving at this point in time $1.48 a share. So because I am representing 100 shares with my call, this is $148. This weekly income represents the renters I was sharing with you. So if you have weekly renters, which are the calls that you're selling against your leaps is your home, then you will be receiving on average about $150 a week.
What she's not mentioning here is that because the market has a tendency to go up, a 0.2 delta is going to get challenged around 20 to 25% of the time. There's a likelihood that you're going to be assigned shares, meaning you're going to be short 100 shares. And because the delta on the long call option isn't as high as being short shares, then as the price of the underlying security increases, you're actually going to lose money. Then once you're short shares, your brokerage is probably going to force you to close out the position. Or even if it doesn't, you likely won't be able to continue to sell call options against that position to collect additional premium. Overall, this is definitely not the worst strategy, but for a new trader or someone who doesn't have a lot of experience, there's a high likelihood that you're going to end up losing money as opposed to making money.
If we go back to the cost of our initial call, $13,500, here's what I like to do to see how long will it take me to pay off the mortgage on my house. So the way that I do this is I take the $13,500 and I divide it by $175 a week. That gives me 77.14. So this is telling me that it would potentially take 77 weeks of selling call options to pay off the price that I pay for the home. Well, that's not bad considering there's over 2 years left in this particular call option. So with 116 weeks left in this trade, it's nice to know that if I am selling covered calls, that I could have this complete trade paid for in about half the time.
What she's conveniently not mentioning here is that the call side is going to end up getting tested around 15 to 20 times. And if you get assigned, then the delta on those short shares are going to be 1, whereas the delta on the long call option is going to be less than 1. So as the security goes up, you're actually going to end up losing money. Additionally, the buying power requirements on the short shares are going to be a lot higher than the buying power requirements on the long call option. So you might actually be forced to close out the position for a loss because you might be forced into a margin call.
Awesome. Pretty good, pretty good. Ryan, usually what we do is to have the cameras on, but since I just had surgery and my face looks pretty awful right now, so we can definitely talk like this. No need for cameras today. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that's fine. What kind of surgery did you have?
Hair transplant.
Okay, cool. That's funny. My wife keeps pushing me to get it. And she wants me to go to like Turkey or something to get it done, but I'm not
Yeah,
really.
I had a Turkish doctor do it to me. Awesome, Brian. So this call is pretty basic. I just want to kind of get a good understanding of where you're at right now in terms of trading options and talk about your goals as well. See if there's something we can help with that makes sense to work with Ashley, and also very important that we get to know you on a personal level. And if I feel like we can help, we can talk about possible next steps. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Cool. Awesome. So, Ryan, before I even dive in, I guess what specifically stood out to you about Ashley? It sounds like you've been following her for over a year now.
Yeah, I want to increase my returns.
Oh, okay. Got it. Got it. What do you specifically like about Ashley and her videos, though?
She seems relatable. It seems that her performance is solid.
Yeah, 100%. So, I guess in regards to what we do here, obviously you're trying to have higher returns and make money and learn to scale. But what's the actual outcome you're really looking to achieve behind doing that?
I don't understand the question.
I guess what is your why behind making more money with trading options?
So this is where he starts trying to get very personal. He's going to start asking very personal questions to try to establish rapport, when in reality, the only thing he cares about is having you sign up so that he can get paid his commission. It's always good to explore potential investment opportunities and then see if it makes sense. And if I can make a few extra percent a month or an extra 10 or 15% a year, then that would be something I'd be interested in.
Yeah, 100%. I guess I'm kind of curious for you right now. Are you working a 9 to 5, or what do you do?
No, I'm not. So I'm looking for something as an extra source of income that I can commit to.
Got it. And you've been trading for how long?
About three to 4 years.
Got it. Got it. And you've been consistently getting enough income to be comfortable with it, right?
Yeah, I've been doing okay, but I always want to learn about new strategies and ways to improve.
Mm. I guess let's say in the last 3 months, how much have you made and how much have you lost?
Last 3 months. So in August, I lost a little bit of money, and then September I did really well. And then October I also did pretty well.
Do you happen to have the numbers?
I think on a net basis I made about 20 to 25,000 on a net.
Over 3 months.
Yeah.
And do you remember how much you've lost?
No, I'm saying that that's on a net basis, so that's inclusive of
Oh, okay.
August.
Hmm. Are you satisfied with that 25 in 3 months?
I think it's good, but then there are situations where we've also been in a bull market. So if there are strategies that I can learn which could reduce the volatility of the returns or protect the portfolio, then I would like to learn that.
Sure. So I did the math. Obviously, like 25 in 3 months is 8.3 in a month. Ideally, how much would you like to bring per month consistently with the right strategies?
I think it's safe overall to target around 3% a month, maybe potentially a little bit more. But I understand that the more money you try to make, the more risk you're going to assume as well. So I think that earning about 3% a month is a decent target. Do you think that that's fair, or do you think that that's too
I
little? Or
mean, I'm gonna surprise you in a little bit, my friend. But just numbers, right? Not like the percentage. Ideally, what's the target income per month for you? Right now, it's 8.3 based on what you're telling me. Ideally, would you like to double that?
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Okay, so let's do that. So 16K a month would be the goal here. Sounds good. So for you, right? You said you've been trading for 3, 4 years. What, I guess for you, why do you feel like what you're doing is not necessarily getting you to those satisfied results that you potentially are not feeling right now?
Just because I'm relatively new, and even though I've been doing it for 3 to 4 years, my strategy is pretty simple. And if I can learn from someone who has more experience, then that would be something I'd be open to.
Gotcha. Well, let's say Ashley is sitting across from you right now, and you had the ability to ask her any kind of questions regarding trading specifically. What would you want to ask her so that you can maybe take your skill level to that next phase?
This was a super weird question, but I had to play along. And he ended up ignoring my response and just progressing through his script. I want to ask her what her primary trading strategy is when it comes to
Okay.
options.
Okay.
Um, Also, does she work with Invest with Henry? I think so, right?
No, they're friends.
Oh, okay. And yeah, basically what her what her primary trading strategy is.
Anything else besides that? Like specific details? Or maybe what stocks to trade or
Yeah, what stocks she prefers and what her background is. And
mm, mm.
also, does she show her trading statements?
Oh yeah.
She show she shows her full statements.
When you say statement, what do you mean?
Well, trading statements from the brokerage. You know how every month they provide trading statements.
I think she shows trading signals, but other students do that. In a second, we'll cover that. Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay. So, all right.
Notice how he tries to immediately redirect the conversation back to his script.
So when it comes to, obviously like getting the help needed to potentially scale this up and things like that, is it you just makes decisions around that, or your wife is also part of that?
Yeah, I have to discuss things with my wife, but she trusts me to make good decisions.
Okay. Sounds good. Got it. Well, I'm not sure if you saw this, but Ashley talks a lot about how money is obviously great, but and trading options is a great tool to make that happen. But sometimes it's not always about the money. It's about what the money allows us to do, right? So for you, let's say you were to work with Ashley and she teaches you the strategies so that you can start seeing higher returns and you get to that 16K a month consistently, besides making more money and having more ventures and things like that. Like, what does that really do for you personally?
I think it would alleviate concerns about bills and things like that.
Mm, really concerns about. What is that something you're having trouble with at the moment?
I think a lot of people are because of increased costs and inflation and things
Uh,
things of that nature.
got it, got it. Is there something else that would change as well besides that mental concern per se?
This guy's trying to act like a psychiatrist and act like a concerned friend. That way he builds trust with you, when in reality he only cares about selling you a worthless program that you can learn for free elsewhere. No, not really. Mostly, I'm pretty simple.
Mm, mm. Yeah, because you're not working at the moment, so time is not the issue for you, right?
Correct, yeah.
Got it, got it. Awesome. Well, I'm kind of curious for you, man, because it sounds, I mean, you tell me, are you committed to actually getting the skills necessary to make this happen or no?
Now he's trying to get you to verbally commit, because who is going to respond to him and say, no, I'm not committed? Yeah, of course. I understand how profitable trading and trading options can be. So definitely I'm committed.
Yeah, yeah. And this might sound like a super cliche questions, but some people are not willing to do this, but you're actually open to investing in yourself to make that happen as well.
Yep, I am.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome, man. Well, I'm on your team, man. Like I genuinely want you to get there because there's so much money to be made. And it's good to look at things from the good side of what if we get there, but we have to look at things from the other side of what if we don't. And to give you an example, like Ashley, she had a vision. She was working a 9 to 5, being an average person, not much time, not much freedom, but she found a system. She invested in herself. She worked with coaches, and she's now a millionaire with trading options. Now,
Who did
one
she work
question
with?
she coaches.
Yeah, but like who specifically does she work with?
I don't know.
Okay.
Not important, right?
Notice how he always tries to maintain control of the conversation. When you ask a question, he labels it as not important, which subjugates you and places him as the authority figure, because inherently he wants you to listen to him so that you pay Ashley $5,000.
But one question she asked herself was, what if I actually stay the same and I don't make a change? And the answer to that was she would feel regret, she would feel disappointed, she wouldn't fulfill her full potential, and she wouldn't give herself and her family what the lifestyle they truly deserve. So for you, if you stay the same and not acquire that new skill to make 16K and even more eventually, like what happens then for you, Brian?
Um, I don't know. My wife will spend all my money and then leave me for a wealthier guy. So here I break character and start trolling him a little bit because his questions are so ridiculous. What he's trying to do is create a visualization that as long as you pay Ashley for a worthless program, then you'll become more of a man. You'll be more of a provider.
Wait, really? Is that, are you being sarcastic or are you joking? Or
I think I'm a little bit joking, but there's always a little bit of truth in jokes. So probably a little bit of both. Who knows?
right, but realistically speaking, what could happen for you?
If I don't know, just more anxiety and bills and things like that. I mean, I do okay. It's just, I think that by earning extra money, I'll be able to not necessarily live within a very confined budget.
Mm, 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 mm. Yeah. I was gonna say, because most people, you're actually doing fine, all things considered.
Yeah.
Why not just settle for just being fine? Because most people do that.
This is a way of having you verbally commit. Again, he's presenting Ashley's program as a solution to complacency. So by having you verbally commit to not being fine, then he's presenting Ashley's program to you as a way of improving your life. Yeah, I'm not necessarily super averse to that. It's more so where I believe, based upon the videos and things like that, that I can learn something from her. So I just wanted to explore and see if it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess, do you feel like now is the time for you to actually take this step and see what you can do to get to that next level, or how do you feel?
Yeah, I do. That's
Awesome.
why I'm on the call.
Yeah, of course, and I commend you for being on the call, right? But the most important thing is what we do after, because some people take this conversation and throw it in the garbage and they never take action. So, but I don't think you're that kind of person, right?
This is his most aggressive attempt at having you verbally commit. And by having you commit, then psychologically you're going to feel that you have to follow through. I don't think so.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, based on what you're telling me, Brian, I feel super confident that we can help you. Remind me again, just to make sure though, your portfolio size with what you're working with is 600K. Is that right?
Yeah, about that. But I would want to start with less in the beginning.
It's not a problem.
Yeah.
It's not a problem. Maybe 200K.
Yeah, 2 to 3. Yep.
Sounds good. Yeah. So it's all going to come down to strategies around how to maximize profit and mitigate risk and do it safely and sound and take it slow. There's going to be strategies around how to make weekly profits. There's going to be strategies how to do monthly, right? But it's holistically going to allow you to have multiple diversified options to the point where you don't have to risk everything in one spot and you're putting multiple eggs in different baskets. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Awesome. So I'm going to start kind of going over what you're going to get by working with Ashley. Now, I want to start with the first thing, which is a one-on-one call with Ashley herself. It's a 30-minute mastermind call where she sits down with you on Zoom, gets to know you in your portfolio, lays out a game plan for you, whether it's 5 years from now, 10 years, 15 years. And she's going to give you exactly what you need to do in terms of steps to hit those goals. But you think that would be helpful to you?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Awesome. The other thing is you're going to get lifetime access to Ashley's Inner Circle Discord community. Are you familiar with Discord?
I am familiar with it, although in other groups that I've joined, the Discord frequently devolves because there's too many people just writing random stuff. And sometimes it's useful and other times it's not.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand where you're coming from. Did this Discord also have weekly calls with coaches?
Notice how my complaint about Discord is that there are too many people just writing random stuff, and then he acts like he understands where I'm coming from, but then he changes the subject and doesn't address my main concern, and instead asks me a question of whether the other Discords have calls with coaches, which was not my original concern. Not the ones that I've been a part of.
Okay, got it. So this one is a bit different. I'm going to share my screen with you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you see my screen?
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm going to start with one of my favorite resources is Ashley's traits. So she's very consistent with this on a daily basis. What you can do is just copy and paste what she does. This is, for example, her trades yesterday actually, and she's made this much in one day. So the reason why she does that is because she wants everyone to win. So just by copying and pasting what she does, you can print money like no tomorrow. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that would be great.
Awesome. The other thing is the ability to ask any questions whenever you have something pop up. And you not only have access to Ashley, but there's Coach Tim and Coach JB. So they're at the same level as Ashley, and obviously 3 coaches is better than 1. So anytime you have questions, just pop it in here. But this is just an additional resource. The other thing that truly stands out is Ashley's weekly calls. So you're Eastern time, right?
Yeah.
Got it. So there's going to be calls on Tuesday and Friday Eastern with Ashley and other coaches and other members. So you can touch base with them, learn from others, ask questions like this, and just have that ability to learn as much as you can to take your skill level to that next phase. Do you think that would be helpful to you, or how do you feel about it?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. And for whatever reason, let's say something popped up and you're not able to make it, there's always the recordings. This is, for example, the recording for today's call. Just pop it in here. There's obviously the topic covered on the call, and you can just watch it whenever you like. But excuse me one second. Let me drink some water.
Okay.
My throat is getting dry. That's what happens when you take 6 calls a day.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. So the other thing is looking at people's screenshots in terms of screenshot profits. Like, for example, the one that would relate to you the most would be Chris Max. Trying to find his. Um, oh yeah, there you go. So this person right here, his portfolio is 200. Portfolio size 200. In 1 week, he went up by to 231. 12% return. And he's making 15K a month on average. So this is like what's possible in terms of returns.
Mhm.
So if he can do it with Ashley's help with the same size, obviously there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So you were talking about percentages, so I want to go back to that, right? So 22% returns, 12% return in 1 week. Look at these numbers right here, 42%, 21. So this is not the average 1 to 3% because Ashley's so good at what she does that her success is off the charts.
Mhm.
But how do you feel about these kind of numbers?
Yeah, they look great.
Awesome. So yeah, show you what's possible in terms of returns. And the next thing we're gonna cover, I don't think I need to show it to you, but essentially another video course of Ashley's modules from A to Z in terms of the strategies. Now, in terms of the strategies itself, there's so many topics such as vertical put spreads, vertical call spreads, iron condors. Have you ever done any of those?
Yeah, I've actually done vertical credit spreads, right?
Yep. Yep. What about iron condors?
I think I've done a few of them, but not that many.
Sounds good. Have you done leaps and 4 months covered call?
A few leaps, but not poor man's cover calls.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, so she's going to teach you how to do that as well as how to monitor your open trades, how to roll a trade, how to calculate profits on a roll trade, what is margin, risk management for the Greeks and for outsized gains, and read an option chain. Also, tax saving strategies because we understand that the benefit from stocks and options is huge when it comes to saving money on taxes. So we're going to teach you around that. But yeah, just a whole lot of diversified strategies to make the most amount of money and have the less amount of risk. But how do you feel about that?
Yeah, it sounds great.
Cool. So that is pretty much everything in terms of coaching, support, community, and proximity. Ashley, do you feel like what I covered today in terms of the lifetime access to the Discord, 2 weekly calls, the 30-minute call with Ashley, the community, is this what you're looking for to take your skill level to that next phase and you start making those higher returns of investments, or how do you feel?
Yeah, it could definitely help. I want to know how much it costs and what the commitment is.
Yeah, for sure. Like cost aside, alignment wise, is this something you actually want to be part of though?
Yeah, I mean, definitely I would be willing to give it a shot and then see if it's right for me. I can't commit to everything right off the bat, just off one phone call, but I would need to experience it and then see if it's worthwhile.
Yeah. Well, there's only way to experience it, right? Otherwise, we're gonna have 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and that leads to not hitting our goals, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So for the everything that I just covered for lifetime, so that we can work with you and have the support with Ashley every single day, is a one-time investment of 5K.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah.
And are there any other plans that you guys have? For example, do you have a monthly or anything like that?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we have the 3 months plan, which comes down to 5,400. So it's 1,800 for the first, second, and third month.
Hold on, I'm confused. So the lifetime is less money than the 3-month plan?
Well, the 3 months plan is just another way of paying the program for the lifetime. Does that make
Oh,
sense?
right. No, what I'm saying is you guys only offer one program, which is the lifetime. So the you only offer one product, which is for $5,000. You don't, there's no way to,
We we have the 1 year, which is 3K.
okay. So there's no way, I guess what I'm saying is, because in the past I've been burned. So committing to
Mm.
something for $3,000 right off the bat is a lot. I was looking for something where if I could be a member for a month, or you guys don't have a trial or nothing like that.
Yeah, I mean, you can try the what's it called? The lifetime for a month. Get in with 1,800, and then if you absolutely hate it, then you can just cancel or you're not due for any more payments. But we never had someone have that experience because our community is different. We pride ourselves in the results people are getting, and you can see that from this screenshot I showed you. I understand you've been burned in the past. I've been burned in the past too, but that doesn't mean that every program is going to be like that. Sometimes we're going to have to let go of our past failures to keep moving forward. Otherwise, we're going to stay in the same spot, right?
Yeah. So you're telling me you guys have basically 100% conversion where every single person who's ever signed up for a monthly has never canceled?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This guy is now stepping with both feet into predatory marketing by telling me that Ashley can print money like no tomorrow, and by lying to me and saying that nobody has ever canceled. These type of things would easily be proven false with a simple subpoena, and then both he and Ashley would be subject to FTC litigation.
So if I were you, I would do the 1,800 for the first month, and I mean, I'm guaranteeing you, you're not gonna want to cancel because you're gonna see the results with your own eyes. But worst case scenario, you can just cancel.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, is that something you want to do?
Yeah, it's something that I would definitely consider. But regarding, just to make sure, on Discord, I've also been in situations where people have basically posted things, and then you have a situation like happened yesterday where the market dropped 110 points, and then people got crushed, and then they lost everything. So that's why I was asking, is there any documentation that you can point me to so that I can do more research where she posts her trading statements or anything of that nature? So here I start becoming a little bit more aggressive.
I showed you my screen earlier with the profits from yesterday, for example.
Right,
I mean, at the end of the day,
but again, like, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking if she shows from her broker, and she shows her trading statements.
okay, why do you feel like you need that personal information?
Well, I don't think it's personal information. If someone's asking for $5,000 and then they're claiming that they're making 12%, 20%
Right.
a month, then
Yeah.
shouldn't they show something more than simply screenshots?
I mean, screenshots are enough, to be honest. I don't think, I mean,
So
why are
basically,
you,
you're saying, so I'm asking you if she shows statements and you're telling me no. That's what you're saying, right?
I'm asking you, Brian, why do you feel like there's something that's causing you to potentially want more proof? That's the main question here.
So you've never heard or seen anyone who makes a claim based upon Discord, and you basically take everyone at their word, right? So if I just go on Discord and I say that I made 20% last month, then some random person making a claim is good enough for you, and then you're just gonna put down $5,000. You don't want any additional proof. So if someone tells
I
you,
would want screenshots, and that's exactly what I showed you.
okay, so
And
if you went to buy a car and then I sent you screenshots of a potential car, you would then wire me $5,000 for the car without coming and doing any additional diligence?
those are two different things. I mean, Brian, I don't want to keep going in this loop of me trying to convince you that what we're doing is legit because I am inside the community and I see people making a shit ton of money. So if you don't want to, that's completely fine. Like nothing's gonna change for me. Um, but at the end of the day, you're only gonna do yourself this service.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that's fine. The only thing I was asking, which I think is fair, because all the other communities that I've joined, and I've joined a lot of them, they do have something where they show some type of statements. So if that's not how you guys do that in order to validate the claims that you're making over 10% a month, then I mean, it is what it is.
Right. I mean, all these people, right, that I showed you, what about them makes you feel like there's lack of truth? I don't understand, right? Like, how could people fake this?
Well, pretty simply, right? If you're earning 20% a month or 10% a week and you're selling options, then basically you're probably going to be over levered. And then you run into a situation like yesterday where the market drops 110 points. So I want to see what the drawdowns are. And I think it's pretty convenient that she doesn't show her statements. Because if I was making those type of returns, which I'm not, I would show my statements.
Okay. Well, at the end of the day, I never had someone go this far in terms of like show me results because what I usually show them is enough. So that's not a problem on our end or anybody's because Ashley's successful at what she does and she has proof to back it up. And I showed you to her results and her students' results. So that's something you're going to have to overcome yourself.
Okay.
And if that's going to hold you back, then that's unfortunate.
Okay. The last question that I have is on her website, she says that she has an LLC. And I live in Florida as well. So I looked up the LLC in sunbiz.org and it doesn't exist. Do you know why she would use a falsified LLC on her website?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Now I'm not sure why even nitpicking about stuff like that, to be honest.
Okay. So you think it's fine to use a fake LLC on your website? And you think that not showing trading statements is also fine?
I never said that. You can think whatever you want, Brian. Have a good one.
Bummer. He rejected me, and I was strongly considering paying Ashley $5,000 for a program that I can learn for free. A few other things that I found out regarding Ashley Wade. She's definitely a disciple of Invest with Henry, where she was probably a student. He then offered to help her grow her own trading and education platform in exchange for a large percentage of the money and revenue that came into her business. She then probably had a falling out, or maybe she just simply burned out and then decided to go out on her own. Because if you click on her old channel name, you'll see that it actually forwards to a rebranding of Invest with Henry. See, Invest with Henry number 2, where almost all the videos have been deleted except for this one. Also, she used the same gimmick with her old website when she was still affiliated with Invest with Henry. You can see the Investing with Ashley, and she also called this an LLC in her terms and conditions. But then if we go to sunbiz.org, we can also see that she was using a fraudulent LLC name because Investing with Ashley does not exist. So in my opinion, trading with Ashley, Invest with Ashley, Investing with Ashley, Ashley Wade, is she the worst? No, she's not, but she uses borderline predatory marketing in order to encourage you to join her Discord. In order for you to even trial her Discord, you're going to have to spend $1,800. Her sales team pushes people to enroll in the $5,000 lifetime option. And also, I believe that during a bear market, virtually all of her members are going to end up blowing up their accounts. But this probably doesn't matter to Ashley because even during a bear market, she's still going to keep your $5,000, even though you've been forced into a margin call and you've likely been forced to liquidate all of your positions for a major loss. Overall, after watching hours of content from Trading with Ashley, I think that she's similar to Invest with Henry, except she relies upon a wholesome image, which is similar to someone like Peachy Investor. I don't think that her strategy is necessarily the worst. However, I do believe that almost every single person that ends up following her will end up blowing up their account or getting close to blowing up their account during a bear market. I believe that she uses deceptive and borderline predatory marketing tactics in order to encourage people to join her Discord. There is no trial available for her Discord, and the minimum amount is $1,800 a month, and she pushes the $5,000 lifetime option. So basically, in order for you to get into her program, the minimum amount of money that you're going to have to outlay is going to be $1,800. There's no trial option. And during the onboarding call, it really seemed that the guy was not only being disingenuous and lying to me by telling me that nobody cancels after the first month, but he was also using psychological manipulation by asking me if I'm the type of person who takes action, and also asking me if I'm the sole decision maker or whether I have to discuss things with my wife. And I also felt that he was pushing me heavily into the $5,000 lifetime option. Regarding her investing strategy, she does not use any type of hedging. She also teases very unrealistic gains. In order to make that type of returns, you're going to have to trade way too aggressively. Your sizing is going to have to be too large. And also on your put options, you're going to have to choose strike prices which are too close to the current market price, which will leave you in danger of being forced into a margin call and having to close out your positions where the S&P has just one day where it falls over $100 and volatility spikes up by 20%. So like I said, she doesn't utilize hedging in her portfolio. She teases unrealistic gains. Her trading strategy is very simplistic, and she teaches something that you can easily learn for free on something like Tasty Live. There's no need for you to pay her anything when you can learn her strategy for free. She's also engaged, like I mentioned, in very high risk trading, because even though the underlyings that she trades aren't necessarily the riskiest, but because the number of contracts and her strike prices are so aggressive, that's going to leave her followers in a very precarious situation if the market pulls back by just 5%. So I think that her strategy overall is very high risk, but I do think that her strategy will do very well in a bull market. But as mentioned, I think that you'll blow up your account in a bear market. She also conveniently fails to show her trading statements. So again, she does not show her trading statements, and you would want someone who you're going to hand over $5,000. You would hope that that person would show you trading statements. But according to her salesperson, that type of request is simply too weird.